Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another thrilling installment of Premier League Logic, where everything's made up and the rules don't matter. This week's episode stars Darwin Núñez, who somehow got kicked by Jordan Pickford, needed medical attention, and still got a yellow card. Because of course he did. Yes, in the 87th minute of the Liverpool versus Everton Derby, also known as the Anfield Annual Complaint Festival, Nunez was clattered into, treated like a crash test dummy, and then punished for delaying the restart. Brilliant stuff. Pickford launched into Nunez like he was clearing out his inbox. One moment you see Darwin, the next, he's horizontal, considering a new career in ballet. Imagine getting kicked rolling off the pitch in pain, and then getting a yellow card for not suffering in the right location. If football had an Oscar for Best Supporting Role in a Controversial Decision, Sam Barrett would already be polishing his trophy. The referee's logic? Play was dead, but let me book the guy who looks most like he's dying. Meanwhile, VAR was off enjoying a cup of tea, because the whistle had already gone. Great timing, lads. And let's talk about the real star of the moment. Pickford's right boot. That thing came flying in like it had a personal vendetta against Nunez's shins. If you slowed it down, you'd swear it was rehearsed choreography for a kung fu movie. It wasn't a tackle, it was an aerial strike, and somehow the guy who got Bruce Lee was the one who ended up in the referee's little black book. Pickford launched into Nunez like he was clearing out his inbox. One moment you see Darwin, the next, he's horizontal, considering a new career in ballet. Imagine getting kicked rolling off the pitch in pain, and then getting a yellow card for not suffering in the right location. If football had an Oscar for Best Supporting Role in a Controversial Decision, Sam Barrett would already be polishing his trophy. The referee's logic? Play was dead, but let me book the guy who looks most like he's dying. Meanwhile, VAR was off enjoying a cup of tea, because the whistle had already gone. Great timing, lads. And let's talk about the real star of the moment. Pickford's right boot. That thing came flying in like it had a personal vendetta against Nunez's shins. If you slowed it down, you'd swear it was rehearsed choreography for a kung fu movie. It wasn't a tackle, it was an aerial strike, and somehow the guy who got Bruce Lee was the one who ended up in the referee's little black book. 2. The referee's logic. Law 12, or Law LOL. Now here's the twist. Referee Sam Barrett. Yes, making his Merseyside Derby debut like it was open mic night, gives Darwin a yellow for unsporting behavior. Why? Because after rolling off the pitch, Darwin dared to roll back on, without permission. Apparently that's delaying the restart, even though he couldn't walk, and the restart wasn't happening anyway because Pickford had just performed a WWE move. Barrett gave that yellow card like it was part of a loyalty scheme. Collect 5 and get a free coffee. It's like punishing someone for fainting too close to the sideline. Darwin's crime? Bleeding in the wrong postcode. If re-entering the pitch while being treated as unsporting, what about flying dropkicks from goalkeepers? Is that just competitive enthusiasms now? Imagine your house burns down and the fire department fines you for standing on the lawn without shoes. That's the logic here. And let's be honest, if this is how Law 12 is applied, we might as well rename it Law 404. Common sense not found. The referee watched a man writhing in pain and thought, yeah, this is clearly a tactical delay. If Darwin had crawled back on while reciting Shakespeare, maybe then it would have made more sense. But no. Apparently, being injured now comes with an administrative penalty. What's next? Booking players for blinking too loudly. 3. Liverpool fans, shocked, offended, and still unbeaten. Liverpool fans understandably reacted like they'd just been told Arne Slot was replacing Mo Salah with Virgil van Dijk up front. Outrage everywhere. X, formerly Twitter, exploded with takes like, how does Darwin get a card when he's the one who got kicked? And refs have it out for us. Confirmed. Liverpool fans are convinced Nunez is being persecuted. Not just by defenders but by laws of physics, match officials, and possibly gravity. One fan wrote Pickford should be in jail, not goal. Another said refs hate us. Honestly, they might be onto something. They didn't forget Tarkowski's early studs up horror challenge either. Because nothing says controlled aggressions like launching your boot into someone's ankle. Liverpool fans are now requesting that all referees undergo psychological evaluations before officiating derbies, or at least take a crash course in common sense. And of course, some fans immediately went full conspiracy mode, bringing up ancient grudges, questionable calls from 2017, and demanding a full Netflix docuseries titled Whistlegate, The Darwin Injustice. The memes came flying in. Darwin photoshopped in a crime scene, Klopp reviewing Law 12 like it's an ancient curse, and one brave soul editing Pickford's flying boot into Mortal Kombat. Liverpool Twitter wasn't just offended, they were in full courtroom mode, and Judge Judy wouldn't have stood a chance. 4. Everton fans. Deserved yellow, move on energy. Everton fans, on the other hand, were feeling spicy. They defended Pickford like he was England's crown jewel. To them, Darwin's yellow was textbook time wasting, rolling back on the pitch. That's prime clock-milking behavior, even if you need a stretcher. One Everton fan posted, "Darwin rolling back on like that. Yellow card all day." That's page 1 of the Time Wasters Handbook. They think Nunez was less injured and more dramatic than a Nollywood audition. Toffees were also focused on what really mattered to them. Their 9-match unbeaten streak evaporating like common sense in that referee's head. Pickford's challenge? Just clearing his lines, they said. If his lines are located inside Nunez's legs, then sure. They were more bothered by Luis Diaz supposedly being offside during Jota's goal. To them, the real villain wasn't Darwin or Pickford. It was the guy wearing black and holding the whistle like it's a mic drop. And let's be honest, Everton fans weren't about to pass up a golden opportunity to roast Darwin. Some were calling him the Uruguayan Neymar. Others suggested he deserved an acting award sponsored by Sky Cinema. One particularly savage comment read, "If Darwin spent more time on his feet than the floor, he might have scored instead of starring in season 3 of Diving with the Stars." For them, it wasn't just a yellow. It was karma served cold, with a side of salt and vinegar. 5. Neutral fans confused but entertained. Neutral fans were just trying to enjoy a derby without accidentally triggering a civil war. Instead, they got a Shakespearean tragedy with shin guards. Their reaction to Nunez assists is yellow, equal parts confusion, disbelief, and popcorn consumption. Neutral fans be like, wait, so the guy who got kicked gets booked because he lay in the wrong direction? Cool, cool, totally makes sense. One neutral tweeted, "If that's a yellow, then next time I sneeze at a football match, I expect a straight red." Others found the whole mess hilarious. Derbies that produce yellow cards after the whistle, peak entertainment. Don't ever fix this. Some were genuinely split. Pickford went in hard, but the whistle had blown and Darwin did milk it a bit. Classic fence sitting. At this point, neutrals watch the Premier League like it's scripted reality TV. And this episode, absolute gold. One particularly cheeky neutral fan joked, "That entire sequence had more plot twists than a Christopher Nolan film, just waiting for the part where Darwin wakes up and realizes it was all a dream, and he's still carded." Others suggested the Premier League should hire Netflix to dramatize the event, complete with slow-motion replays, dramatic orchestral music, and Morgan Freeman narrating. In that moment, Darwin knew he was doomed. Because if you can't explain the logic, you might as well enjoy the chaos. 6. Premier League Match Center, the great clarifier. Ah yes, the Premier League Match Center, where confusing decisions go to get official explanations that confuse us even more. They posted Nunez booked for unsporting behavior, re-entering pitch without permission. That's it. No mention of the shin kick, Pickford's Jackie Chan moment, or the fact that Darwin looked like he needed a stretcher, not a yellow. That explanation might as well have said, "Because we said so." Match Center's communication strategy is basically, we made a decision. If you don't like it, scream into the void. If Darwin had come back onto the pitch riding a unicycle while juggling cones, then I'd understand the card. But rolling in pain? That's a new low. Premier League officials love rules. What they hate, context, and eyesight. Honestly, even IFAB probably looked at that yellow and went, "Wait, we didn't mean it like that." And of course, the Match Center's clarifications opened the floodgates to a fresh wave of football law scholars on social media, everyone suddenly quoting Law 12 like they wrote it themselves. One user posted, "Technically correct, but morally bankrupt," while another simply replied with a gif of a man shredding a rulebook into confetti. Because when the officials start sounding like automated customer service reps, fans just assume the VAR room is powered by a magic 8-ball and a hope for the best. 7. Derby drama. A Merseyside classic. In the end, Liverpool won. Everton cried robbery. Nunez limped off with a yellow card, and the referee left the stadium escorted by 14 stewards and a prayer circle. But hey, this is the Merseyside Derby. If there isn't at least one moment of utter nonsense, is it even real? The Merseyside Derby isn't just football, it's Shakespeare, WWE, and courtroom drama wrapped into 90 minutes of chaos. Every player leaves with bruises, every fan leaves with blood pressure issues, and the referee leaves wondering why he ever took this job. Pickford versus Nunez will now go down in history, filed under things that made zero sense but were absolutely unforgettable. This game had everything: controversial tackles, VAR debates, an accidental kung fu scene, and a referee who looked like he was winging it based on vibes and horoscopes. It was the kind of match that makes you question if the Premier League isn't secretly scripted by HBO. All we needed was Klopp and Sean Dyche dramatically staring each other down in the rain, and we'd have had an Emmy nomination. Truly a derby for the ages. Closing thoughts. Welcome to the Premier League. So, was Darwin Núñez unfairly booked, or did he commit the unforgivable sin of rolling while injured? Is Jordan Pickford a brave keeper, or just the newest Marvel anti-hero? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Smash that like button if you think referees should get yellow cards too, and subscribe for more ridiculous football moments that make you question everything. Until next time, remember, in the Premier League, you can get kicked, booked, and confused, all in one breath. Cheers.